Okay, this is Ken Rosignol with the Chesapeake Today at Mike's Restaurant in Riva with district right here where it's running for the Maryland State Senate seat 33 in the general election November 8th. It is the Republican candidate for State Senate running against Dawn Guile, and her campaign has been throwing out some really nasty flyers showing that tabloid journalism is alive and well in Democratic Party mailers. Sid, would you like to talk about the issues in the campaign and about your opponent's mailer?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So, I understand politics is a contact sport, but it's unfortunate that my opponent and the Democratic Senate Caucus Committee have gone beyond contact sport, that they've actually flat out lied and they're factually incorrect and went to the extent of slandering me, defamation, and it's also very disappointing that they've darkened my face in some of the mailers that they've sent out, and it's unfortunate. I was born and raised in Lebanon, so I am Lebanese by born, but I am an American now, and it's unfortunate that they use these small tactics to make me look like a sinister minority in some of those mailers. Well, they're accusing me of something that is not true, and they're just avoiding talk. They wanted to avoid talking about the issues. The economy is not in good shape at all. People are struggling. Every time I go to the grocery store and I meet voters, people are really hurting, and crime is also an issue. As a matter of fact, right now, before I got to this one, I was talking to one of my constituents that called me, and he's having issues in his neighborhood that's in Crofton, and there's a lot of activities, drug activities, and they're very concerned about the kids. They're concerned about seniors being able to walk at night or just walk to school. And most importantly, too, I think that there's a huge difference between me and my opponent. I am a Republican, a proud Republican, but I've also learned to work with the other side.
Well, Sid, you won 2 races for House of Delegates.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so people do know you.
People do know me, and I also don't discriminate against anyone, whether it doesn't matter what party they are, Republican, Democrat. I pride myself as having one of the best constituent service office. We help people with thousands and thousands of, whether it's insurance claims, potholes.
And you understand small business. You've been a small businessman for how long?
I've been a small business pretty much for the last 25 years. I've worked with small business before, and I started my own business. I know what it takes to keep the lights on. And those small businesses, and I mean the real small business, I'm not talking about 50 or more, I'm talking about a lot less than that. The mom and pop stores, they're struggling. There's the one that can't find enough help, they can't grow, and they're the one that keep getting, unfortunately, picked on, by us, by the state, by government. And
how would you characterize your opponent in the area of taxes and regulation?
So,
compared to yourself,
based on what I know from her, her website is very basic. It just says she wants to invest. And
well, she's never run for office before.
She has never run for office before. She's a litigator, a business lawyer. She's a business lawyer for big business.
She's another lawyer that wants to be in the General Assembly.
She's another
Does that
lawyer.
really work out well for Maryland when they pack it with lawyers in the General Assembly?
No, I mean, I think it's always nice to have a lawyer, but it's not when you have the vast majority of people in the General Assembly are not business owners. You can't feel how things are unless if you actually walks in the shoes of that person, and this is what's missing in Annapolis, and that's why Annapolis is an anti-business, or Maryland has been anti-business. With Governor Hogan, things have improved, but unfortunately they hold the key. They're the supermajority, and Governor Hogan and I and a lot of the Republicans, we've always reached across the aisle because we want to, but not just because we have to, because we want to.
What would the public get out of your opponent in the area of crime if they put her in office?
Well, Democrats, and including herself and the people that are backing her, they have been very soft on crime. You can see every Democratic city, every Democratic place that their Democrats run it's soft on crime. The catch and release policy is not a good policy, and she will be a rubber stamper for the Democratic majority.
I mean, it's like every day, district court judges in Maryland let gun felons, previous offenses, caught with loaded guns, let them loose on no bail.
So this is one of her policies. She wants, this is three things that she's also aligned herself, and she's working with Progressive Maryland, which is an organization that even wants to decriminalize heroin. I mean, is this the Maryland you want to live in? And then, the catch and release policy is another policy. But going back to the spending, the Democrats have been taxed and spent. We have, Governor Hogan worked very hard on keeping the $2 billion surplus, and now all they want to do is spend it and tax you more. And we don't have anything to show for, because our budget is pretty much 87% of it is mandated, and you can already hear with candidate for Governor Moore, he's already spent $100 million on programs, or he wants to promote programs. Well, we don't have that kind of money to spend, while Marylanders are struggling at the kitchen table, at putting food on the table, and
well,
gas
the big
prices
issue,
out of control.
the main issue is inflation, right?
Absolutely.
Inflation, crime, taxes.
Inflation, crime,
Where does
and
your
taxes.
opponent stand on all those as opposed to yourself?
Well, and I mean, I guess inflation touches everyone. I'm sure, she feels it maybe just like everyone else, but she doesn't feel it like the real people that are struggling. As far as taxes, the Democratic mentality is if we have an issue, we just tax it and we hope it's going to get better. And that's not the approach that we need to take. I think Marylanders work very hard for their money, and we want to make sure that we provide the essential services for them. But taxing our way out of our issues is not the way to do it. There's plenty of money that we can find and reallocate also, instead of finding new money. I mean, we've legalized cannabis, we've legalized gambling in the state. So we've had a lot of big ways of collecting revenues, but we're already getting tapped out. There's no more places to keep getting more revenues. And then with the economic downturn, you're going to have less people paying taxes, because less people are going to be making money, and it's going to hit us hard. And we need to be prepared for that, to make sure that we safeguard this $2 billion surplus, to make sure that we use it where we need it, mostly for protecting our public.
Okay, great. So District 23, or District 33, Senate District 33 in Anne Arundel County. What do you want to say to the people that have voted for you before?
So first, I want to thank them for giving me this honor of my life. Just quickly, I am an immigrant, a proud immigrant. I came to the United States as a teenager with $700 in my pocket and one-way plane ticket, looking for three things: electricity, water, and safety.
Would you buy your opponent a one-way plane ticket out of the U.S.?
No, I mean, I'm sure I've been offered that by a lot of my, I guess, I wouldn't say, people on the opposite side have offered me many.
Well, she smeared you pretty hard.
She has, and you know what, but at the end of the day, I know every person I've talked to that they can see through the desperation, the propaganda. I mean, they gerrymandered the district to win it, and they've already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars attacking me, but they haven't really talked about the issues. All they say is, like, we have a plan, but we don't know what the plan is.
Right.
But it has been the greatest honor of my life. I've represented District 33 for 8 years. One of the main reasons that I didn't run for re-election, even though it would have been a much easier election, is I believe in term limits, and I think people should not stay in office more than 8 years, regardless of what office it is. Presidents serve 8 years, governors serve 8 years, and I think you always need to make room for somebody new with new ideas. I wanted to move over to the Senate because I didn't want to be one of those guys that gets rolled out on a stretcher, or just be there in the House just pressing the button. But I am, I understand that the American dream is still well and alive, and I will take on any political party trying to divide us. I don't think, Republicans have made mistakes, Democrats have made mistakes, and I think we need to come united as American, more importantly, than Republicans or Democrats and unaffiliated.
Sid, what about working together with the other party in Annapolis?
Well, I have a great record of working for the past 8 years across the aisle. I have passed many bills, and I've had Democratic co-sponsors, Republican co-sponsors. The main difference, I think, between Republicans and Democrats in Annapolis, we're a lot more common sense and independent when it comes to voting. I have voted for Speaker Jones. I've voted for Speaker Bush. I can guarantee you that no Democrat would say they would vote for a speaker on the Republican side. And hopefully when I win, I will vote for President Ferguson as the president of the Senate, because I want to work with them. I also know that my opponent will be a rubber stamper to the Democratic machine, and she would not go out of line, because if she does, they will get rid of her as fast as I helped her. With me, I'm common sense. I'm issue-oriented, and I care about people, and my loyalty is to the people, not to the party.
Okay, great. Delegate Sid Saab.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.